Hi there, and welcome to the Easy English Podcast. I'm Monica, and I'm so excited to be your guide for today's fun and useful topic. I'm afraid to speak English. I'm scared that if I make mistakes, others will laugh at me. Have thoughts like these ever crossed your mind? If they have, you're definitely not the only one. Many people learning a language feel nervous about speaking English because they fear being judged or feeling embarrassed. But here's the reality. Every fluent English speaker you see today once started as a beginner. So what's really getting in your way when it comes to improving your English? Are you making excuses, lacking confidence, or just unsure about where to begin? Let's take a look at the true reasons people struggle and go over practical steps that can lead you toward fluency in English. Why does fluency in English matter? Speaking English fluently is challenging, but it's one of the most valuable skills you can build, both for personal growth and professional success. Whether you need English for school, work, or everyday situations, mastering it can lead to better job opportunities, international travel, and deeper connections with people across the globe. Thankfully, learning English today is more convenient than ever. With mobile apps, online content, conversation groups, and digital learning tools, you can now practice anytime and anywhere. But despite this, many learners still struggle with staying consistent and motivated. Let's look into some of the common excuses that stop people from learning English and how to beat them. 1. You don't use English in real-life situations. Learning English isn't only about memorizing vocabulary, grammar rules, or phrases. It's about knowing how to use the language in everyday situations. A lot of beginners make the mistake of only studying textbooks or doing exercises without actually applying what they've learned. Reading and studying are important, but they're just one part of the overall process. To truly get better at English, you have to use it regularly in your day-to-day life. This means speaking, writing, listening, and even thinking in English as much as you can. For instance, when you learn new vocabulary, don't just write it in a notebook and leave it there. Try using those words during conversations. If you're learning how to order food in English, pretend you're in a restaurant and say the sentences out loud. You could even role-play with a friend or a language buddy. The more you use English in real-life scenarios, the more natural it will begin to feel. A simple but powerful way to grow your vocabulary is by keeping a personal notebook or dictionary where you write down new words and phrases you come across. But collecting words isn't enough. You also need to put them into action. Use them in full sentences or conversations. For example, if you've just learned the word delicious, use it to talk about your favorite meal when chatting with someone. If you've picked up the phrase, "How are you?" try saying it when greeting people. Using new words in context helps lock them into your memory and makes it easier to recall them later. Another helpful way to bring English into real life is through immersion. Watch English movies or shows with subtitles and try repeating what the characters say or pay attention to the context. Listen to English music and focus on the lyrics. While you're out and about, try to describe what you see or hear in English using the words and expressions you've learned. For instance, if you're walking in the park, think, "The trees are green," or "The kids are playing." Connecting. The language with your surroundings helps strengthen your learning experience. Don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes are a normal part of the process and help you figure out where you need to improve. The more you practice in real-life situations, the more fluent and confident you'll feel. Remember, the goal isn't just to know English, it's to use it effectively in everyday life. So look for opportunities to speak, write, and think in English whenever you can. That's how you turn learning into real, practical skills. 2. You're not spending enough time. A major challenge for many English learners is simply finding enough time to commit to it. Life can get busy, whether it's work, school, family, or other responsibilities. It's easy to say, "I just don't have time," and use that as a reason to put off learning. But the truth is, You don't need hours of uninterrupted study each day to make progress. With the right strategy, even small but consistent efforts can lead to big improvements over time. Thanks to technology, learning English has become more accessible than ever. You no longer need to go to physical classrooms or invest in pricey courses. There are tons of resources online and through apps that let you learn from home at your own speed, often without spending a cent. Whether you're a total beginner, somewhere in the middle, or already advanced, there's something out there for you. For instance, apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or Memrise offer short, bite-sized lessons that take just a few minutes a day. YouTube has tons of channels focused on English learning, from basic vocabulary to advanced grammar. If you prefer more traditional options, you can start with books, newspapers, or podcasts. Something as simple as reading a short article in English every day or listening to a podcast while commuting can improve your vocabulary, listening skills, and pronunciation. The key is to fit English learning into your daily routine in a way that feels natural and sustainable. Instead of spending 15 minutes scrolling social media, you could read a news article or watch a quick educational video in English. Try to dedicate 20 to 30 minutes each day to focused learning. This doesn't mean sitting down with a textbook for a full half hour. It can be broken into smaller chunks throughout your day. For example, practice vocabulary in the morning for 10 minutes, listen to an English podcast at lunch for another 10, and review grammar in the evening for 10 more. The important part is making that time count. Just going through the motions isn't enough. Focused, intentional practice brings better results. And remember, being consistent is more important than how much time you spend in one sitting. Even if you can only spare 20 minutes a day, doing it regularly will build momentum and help you progress steadily. Over time, those daily efforts will stack up, and you might be surprised by how quickly you improve. So instead of saying, "I don't have time," ask yourself, where can I make time? With so many tools available today, there's no excuse not to start. 3. You don't have a solid plan. When it comes to learning English or any new language, enthusiasm alone isn't enough. What you really need is a well-thought-out plan tailored to your goals and your learning style. Without a clear path, it's easy to feel lost, lose motivation, or get stuck without seeing progress. A good plan is like a map. It helps guide you step by step toward fluency. Start by figuring out your current English level. Are you just beginning, able to hold basic conversations, or looking to polish advanced skills? Knowing where you are now helps you focus on what areas need the most attention. For example, if speaking is a challenge for you, your plan should include daily conversations with a tutor or language partner. If writing happens to be your weak area, try focusing on writing short essays or journaling regularly, and seek feedback from someone fluent in English. If grammar is where you struggle, spend time reviewing grammar rules and practicing with exercises. What matters most is identifying your weaknesses and working on them methodically. Also, don't shy away from reaching out to skilled tutors, trainers, or even turning to online resources. They can offer helpful tips, structured lessons, and guidance to boost your progress. For instance, if speaking English is difficult for you, a tutor might recommend shadowing, repeating sentences after native speakers, or practicing commonly used phrases in daily conversations. With proper guidance, your progress speeds up and you're more likely to stay on the right path. Consistency is key, so break your study time into small, manageable parts. Set daily or weekly goals. Maybe learn 10 new words, practice pronunciation for 15 minutes, or finish a grammar exercise. Keep track of your progress and make adjustments to your plan when necessary. When you have a clear strategy and the right support, you'll gradually see improvement and gain more confidence in your English skills. If you tend to rely on your native language too much, it can really slow down your English learning. Translating from your first language or constantly thinking in it before converting thoughts to English makes it harder to become fluent. Fluency means thinking, speaking, and responding in English smoothly without translating. To build this skill, you need to reduce your dependence on your native language and immerse yourself in English as much as you can. One frequent mistake beginners make is directly translating from their native language to English, but this often results in awkward or incorrect sentences. That's because languages don't share the same structure, grammar, or idiomatic expressions. English might have completely different sentence patterns compared to your first language, and some expressions might not translate at all. Instead of translating, try learning English as its own unique system with specific rules and features. To move away from relying on your native language, start thinking in English. Begin with simple thoughts like, "What should I eat for lunch?" Or, "I need to buy groceries." Over time, work up to more complex thoughts. This approach helps you internalize the language and speak more naturally. Another effective method is surrounding yourself with English. Listen to English music, watch movies or shows, and read blogs, articles, or books. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more it becomes familiar. You'll naturally pick up vocabulary, sentence patterns, and commonly used phrases, which makes thinking and speaking in English easier. The most critical element is consistent practice. The more often you use English, the more confident and fluent you'll become. Speak with friends, language partners, or even practice alone. Write regularly, whether it's journal entries, short stories, or texts. Mistakes are part of the journey, and each one helps you grow. Remember, language learning takes time, and consistency is everything. Eventually, you'll think less in your native language and more in English. Keep practicing and immersing yourself, and your fluency will grow quicker than expected. Let go of the habit of leaning on your native language. Embracing English fully is the key to unlocking your potential. Fear of making mistakes is another huge hurdle, especially for beginners. It's totally normal to feel nervous or self-conscious when you're not fluent yet. But allowing that fear to control you will only make learning slower. The truth is, making mistakes is how we learn and improve. If you avoid speaking just because you're scared of being wrong, you'll miss out on the practice that helps you grow. Think back to when you learned your native language as a child. You didn't get everything right at once. You made tons of mistakes. But with time and repetition, you got better. The same idea applies to English. The more you speak, the more relaxed and confident you'll feel. Rather than being afraid of making errors, see them as stepping stones toward fluency. To get over the fear, start by practicing with people who make you feel comfortable. Chat with friends or fellow English learners who understand your journey and won't criticize your mistakes. Begin with short, easy conversations about daily life, like your routine, favorite foods, or hobbies. These don't need to be perfect. The point is to get used to expressing yourself. A great solo technique is speaking to yourself in English. It might feel odd at first, but it's pressure-free practice. Describe your actions. I'm cooking dinner. I'm walking to the store. I'm reading a book. You can also practice self-introductions or explain your opinion on something. This builds comfort with sentence formation and trains your mind to think in English. Everyone makes errors, even native speakers. The key is to keep trying and not let fear stop you. The more you speak, the easier it gets. So, breathe, begin. Speaking and let go of the idea of being perfect, the progress will come. If you're not consistent in your study habits, it can really hold back your English learning. Learning a language is like a marathon. It takes steady effort, not short bursts followed by long pauses. If you're not regularly using what you've learned, it's easy to forget and lose momentum. Think of it like working out. You won't see much progress if you exercise once a week compared to doing it daily. Small, consistent efforts are far more powerful than rare, intense study sessions. One of the toughest things is staying motivated. Motivation naturally rises and falls, and there'll be days when studying feels like a chore. But consistency doesn't depend on motivation alone. It's about building habits and sticking to them, even when you don't feel like it. Try setting a fixed time each day for your English practice. Maybe it's 15 minutes in the morning or half an hour before bed. Treat it like an appointment you can't skip. Eventually, it'll become a part of your daily routine. Bring English into your daily life through practical, simple activities. Do grammar exercises, vocabulary drills, or listening practice daily. Speak as much as you can, even if it's just a sentence or two. Talk about your day, chat with a friend, or speak out loud during tasks. The more often you use English, the more natural it becomes. Another helpful strategy is setting small, reachable goals. Instead of aiming straight for fluency, focus on short-term targets like learning 10 new words a week, nailing a tricky grammar rule, or having a 5-minute chat in English. Celebrate every small win. It keeps you motivated and reminds you you're moving forward. Finally, make sure learning English is something you enjoy. Use resources that interest you. Watch your favorite shows in English, listen to engaging podcasts, or read articles on topics you love. When you enjoy what you're doing, it's much easier to keep going. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about making progress. Even on days you're tired or unmotivated, doing a little is better than doing nothing. Over time, these small steps add up to big improvements. So stay with it, keep practicing, and don't give up.